I want to talk a little bit about why I love cloud for backup and why I'm not crazy about it for long-term archive. So let's take some generic numbers here. Let's say you have 100 terabytes of data at any given point and you want your facility backed up. Well, with a backup, it's very easy to do the math on that and say, okay, 100 terabytes, with BackBlaze, that's $5 per terabyte. It's $500 a month, $6,000 per year. So that's a very predictable expense that you can say, is it worth $6,000 per year for us to have everything backed up at all times? Because sometimes things will be deleted, things will be added, you'll have a bit of a data shuffle. But at the end of the day, you can say this is going to cost us $6,000 to guarantee that our data will always exist. That can be a good investment. It depends on your business. Now, when it comes to archive is about keeping things long-term, right? So here's what I'm always concerned with archiving to the cloud. What I'm concerned with is, first you've got to figure out what your data churn is. So let's take an example of a facility that the average project size is 2 terabytes, and you do 25 projects per year. So what does that come out to? About 50 terabytes of what we call data churn. So that means you're producing 50 terabytes of new content. Now, you might have more storage than that because you've got some old stuff on your storage, but on a yearly basis, you're creating 50 terabytes of content, finishing and then archiving that 50 terabytes, right? So for that same 50 terabytes, you're talking, based on the same math, $5 per terabyte, $3,000 per year. Fantastic. Not bad, right? That's year one. Year two, you've got last year's 50 terabytes and this year's 50 terabytes. That $3,000 becomes $6,000 for the year. Year three, that becomes $9,000. Year four, so on and so forth. So the costs just keep going up as you add more to your archive. Now, this is uniquely true with cloud. This doesn't mean cloud is bad for archival, but I'm not a big fan of it because I believe the successful way that you have to do archive to cloud is to put policies in for deleting material. So whether that's after 2 or 3 years, whatever those policies are. But to me, I think that kind of ruins the idea of an archive because at the end of the day, I want to be able to find something from 8 or 9 years ago. I'm very concerned with our industry because we do truly produce so many terabytes, so much content. I'm very concerned that a lot of people are going to hit 5-6 years from now and realize that they have hundreds and hundreds of terabytes of data in the cloud, and it's not a good way to figure out how to manage that. And it just will come down to, well, delete the older stuff. But then again, why have an archive at that point? So it all depends on your situation, right? As does everything. But if you can really look at your archives and say, hey, we can put a cap on this. We can put a 2-3 year cap. Then it can be a good fit. But if you're sitting here saying, no, we want to access these projects 10, 15 years down the line if we need to, I don't think that's the best strategy. Now, there's upsides and downsides to all of the other strategies, but that's why I'm not crazy about cloud for archive, but I love it for backup because it's very predictable, it's off-site, it's easy to work with. Love that for backup.